Welcome back to the deep dive. I was looking at our schedule for today, and I have to admit, I got a little confused.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, we've been going through this very specific step-by-step system, step one, step two, moving the chains. And suddenly, today, it looks like we're hitting pause.
Right.
We aren't looking at a spreadsheet or a tactical step.
Yeah.
We're doing philosophy.
It does look like a detour, doesn't it? But think of it this way. If you're building a house, you spend a lot of time on the framing, the wiring, the plumbing.
The tactical steps.
Exactly. Those are the tactical steps. But before you hammer a single nail, you need a blueprint. You need to know what you're building and, more importantly, why it's designed that way.
Okay, so this is the blueprint.
Today is a bonus deep dive, episode 16 to be exact, where we look at the architectural blueprint behind the entire Golden Path strategy.
So we're asking the big why.
Yeah.
Why does this system even exist when there are, 1,000 other finance books on the shelf?
Exactly. Because a critical thinker, and we know you are a critical thinker, should be asking, why do we need a middle way? Isn't the standard advice good enough?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Today isn't about how to save $1. It's about the engineering logic that dictates why the strategy is built this way.
Okay, I'm with you. Before we get into the engineering, though, we need to be precise about whose mind we are exploring here.
Good call.
We are analyzing the 3 stages, 13 steps to financial independence developed by Tamir Kaham. Tamir is the originator and architect of this entire strategy. He's also the creator of the YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence. And he's the official Hebrew translator of The Richest Man in Babylon. It's this specific blend of modern systems engineering with ancient financial wisdom that makes this approach so powerful.
It really is a fascinating combination. I mean, you don't often see someone who can quote ancient Babylonian tablets in one breath and then discuss risk management matrices in the next.
That is a rare Venn diagram for sure. So let's get right to the core tension here.
Let's do it.
Most financial advice asks you to choose. Work until 67, too slow. Build a business and take huge risks, too fast. Or save 70% and live in extreme frugality, too extreme. But what if none of those fit who you are? This episode reveals why Tamir built a middle path, a balanced way to maintain quality of life now while building freedom gradually.
And we really need to clarify who is standing at this crossroads. Who is this blueprint actually for?
Yeah, good point.
This isn't for a 19-year-old crypto trader. This deep dive is specifically for the salaried employee. It is about the person who wants to make that transition from employee to a asset owner.
Which is a huge mental shift, but I also wanted to find the negative space. Who is this not for? Because I feel like a lot of financial advice promises you can, retire next Tuesday if you just buy their course.
Right, and this is not that. This is not for the person seeking a get-rich-quick scheme.
Okay.
And, crucially, it is not for the person willing to live on beans and rice in extreme deprivation for a decade just to retire early. This is for the patient builder who values stability just as much as they value growth.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning then, the origin story. Because Tamir didn't just wake up one day and write a 13-step manifesto. This came from a personal pain point, right?
It did, and the context here is just, it's everything. Tamir wasn't a 20-year-old kid in a dorm room with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He was 45 years old, a senior systems engineer, married, father of 3, with a mortgage.
That's a very, very different starting line.
Completely different. So he reads Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is that classic red pill moment for so many people. And he has that awakening.
Right.
He realizes, okay, I need to move from being an employee to an asset owner.
Right.
But here's the problem. The standard advice for becoming an asset owner usually shouts one thing at you.
Quit your job and start a business.
Yep.
Be an entrepreneur.
Exactly. Go fast, break things.
Yeah.
And Tamir looked at that advice, looked at his life, a 45-year-old father with real responsibilities, and he essentially ran a feasibility study on it. And the result came back negative.
Wait, why? I mean, we love the entrepreneur story, the garage startup, the big exit. Why did he reject it?
It wasn't about disrespect. He totally respects entrepreneurs. But as an engineer, he analyzed the requirements of that system.
Okay.
In entrepreneurship, it requires a specific DNA for chaos. It demands high risk, high stress, and the willingness to potentially lose everything and start over. He realized he simply didn't have that DNA.
He didn't want the chaos.
It was a fit problem. That's the perfect way to put it. He liked the destination, financial freedom, but the vehicle, which was entrepreneurship, it was just too dangerous for his family.
Precisely. So like any good engineer, he analyzed the other available systems. If he couldn't take the fast track, what else was there? He looked at the default option, The slow track?
The path most of our parents took.
Work until 67, retire on a pension or Social Security, that whole thing.
Right. And when he ran the stress test on the slow track, he found a critical design flaw.
Which was?
Fragility.
Fragility. That sounds weird because most people think of a government pension or a steady job as the safest thing in the world. How is that fragile?
Well, think about it in terms of control. On the slow track, you are a passenger, not a driver.
Okay.
You are relying entirely on external variables. Will the government raise the retirement age to 70? Will inflation run at 2% or will it be 10% and just eat your savings?
Yeah.
That pension fund even be solvent in 20 years? You have zero control over any of the levers.
So you're just strapped into the back seat hoping the driver knows where they're going.
And hoping the car doesn't run out of gas.
That's...
Plus, there's the legacy issue. In that traditional model, you consume your capital to survive retirement. When you die, the money's usually gone.
You leave nothing behind.
Nothing. For someone who wants to build generational wealth, that's a complete system failure.
Okay, so the slow track makes you a victim of circumstance. I get why an engineer would hate that. So naturally, they usually swing to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? The math-heavy approach.
The FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early.
I see this all over the internet. How I retired at 30 by living in a van and eating lentils.
Exactly. And to an engineer, the FIRE approach is very seductive because it's basically just a math problem.
Right, the numbers work.
If you save 70% of your income, the spreadsheet says you will be free in about 7 to 10 years. The math works.
So what's the flaw? If the math is sound, why didn't Tamir just do that?
Because humans aren't spreadsheets. Tamir identified a flaw in the material of the system, the human cost. He looked at it like structural engineering.
Okay.
You can build a bridge that is technically strong enough to hold the weight, but if the materials are under too much tension for too long, they fatigue.
Meaning, if you make yourself miserable for 10 years, you're going to snap.
Exactly. Sustainability is an engineering constraint. If you spend your prime years, your 40s and 50s, saying no to every vacation, every nice dinner, every toy for your kids, just so you can retire at 55, the mental load is just too heavy. The beam snaps.
Burnout.
Burnout is a system failure.
That's such a good point. I feel like we underestimate the psychological toll of deprivation. It's like a crash diet. You can do it for a month, but for a decade.
It rarely works. And even if it does, you arrive at the finish line exhausted and bitter. That wasn't the life you wanted.
So he's stuck. The slow track is too fragile. The fast track entrepreneurship is too risky due to what?
Survivorship bias.
Hang on, break that down for me. I hear that term, but what does it actually mean in this context?
It's a data error.
Yeah.
We look at Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg and say, see, starting a business works.
Right, the success stories.
But for every Elon Musk, there are 10,000 people who are just as smart, worked just as hard, mortgaged their houses, and lost everything.
Yeah.
We only see the survivors. We don't see the graveyard of failed businesses.
So for a salaried employee with a family to support, betting the farm on those odds is just, it's structural instability.
Exactly.
Okay, so the slow track is a slow death. The fast track is a gamble. The FIRE track is misery. He needed a fourth option.
And since it didn't exist, he engineered it. The golden path. The middle way.
This is the hybrid approach, and I love the analogy he uses here, the rocket launch. It just makes so much sense visually.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Think of your financial journey as launching a rocket into orbit. In this model, your salary, your 9-to-5 job, is the fuel line.
Okay, so the job is the fuel. Got it.
Right. Now, in the fast track mentality, people tell you to cut the fuel line, quit your job, burn the boats, go all in.
Right, go all in now?
They want you to launch the rocket with whatever fuel you have in the tank right now.
Which sounds heroic, but if you run out of fuel halfway up,
You crash.
Yeah.
In the golden path, you never cut the fuel line while the rocket is still on the launch pad.
you stay employed.
You keep that high-pressure fuel pumping into the system. But, and this is the shift, you aren't just burning the fuel to stay warm. You are using that fuel to build the machine, the assets that will eventually take over.
So you're doing two things at once. You're working the job, but you're also building the exit strategy.
You are transitioning your identity before you transition your employment status. You move from employee to asset owner while you are still collecting a paycheck.
It removes the binary choice of safe and bored versus exciting and terrified.
It does. It solves the compromise.
Okay, so let's talk about the name itself, the golden path. It sounds a bit mystical, but knowing Tamir, Everything has a definition.
It does. There are actually 3 layers of meaning to gold here. The first is literal. Gold as a store of value.
Stability.
Right. The strategy prioritizes stability over volatility. We aren't chasing meme coins. We aren't trying to time the market with day trading. We're looking for the gold standard of reliability. If an asset keeps you up at night, it doesn't belong in the portfolio.
Got it. No gambling. What's the second layer?
This is where the philosophy comes in, the golden mean. This is straight from Aristotle.
Aristotle. Okay, I definitely did not expect a Greek philosopher to show up in a personal finance system. How does that fit?
It fits perfectly. Aristotle defined virtue, or the best way to live, as the middle point between 2 extremes.
Okay.
For example, take courage. Aristotle said courage is the golden mean between cowardice on one side and recklessness on the other.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
The slow track. That's the cowardice. It's passive. It's fear-based. The fast track. That's the recklessness. It's betting it all on red.
So the golden path is the Aristotelian middle ground.
It's the courageous, balanced path between being a passenger and crashing the car.
That actually gives it a lot of weight. It's not just I couldn't decide. It's I chose the optimal balance. And the third meaning?
Ancient wisdom. This connects directly to his work as the translator of The Richest Man in Babylon. That book is obsessed with gold as a metaphor for the timeless laws of money.
A part of all you earn is yours to keep. Make thy gold multiply. Things like that.
Exactly. So it's modern systems engineering. All the spreadsheets and the risk matrices running on ancient code.
That is the perfect way to phrase it. The operating system is 4,000 years old. The hardware is modern. I love that. So we have the philosophy. Now let's look at the actual specs. The blueprint has 4 strategic pillars. And the first one is a distinction that I think trips up almost everyone.
Independence before wealth.
Yes.
This is a critical engineering constraint. Most people mix these up. They say, I want to be rich. But rich, or wealth, is luxury. It's the yacht, the second home, the fancy car.
Right.
Independence is survival. It means your passive income covers your grocery bill and your mortgage.
So Tamir is saying, don't try to buy the yacht until you've secured the groceries.
Exactly. You must achieve financial independence first. Secure the fortress. Make sure you never have to work again. Once that safety system is locked in, then you can chase wealth if you want to.
But not before.
But never, ever risk your independence to chase wealth. That's how people go broke. They gamble their safety just to get a slightly bigger payout.
That leads right into the second pillar, stability before growth.
This is the order of operations. You cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. Stage 2 of this strategy is entirely about resilience.
The boring stuff.
Emergency funds, proper insurance, eliminating bad debt, all of it.
I feel like people skip this because it's so boring. Everyone wants to buy stocks. Nobody wants to buy disability insurance.
It is boring, but it's the foundation. If you try to build a heavy load of assets, that's stage 3, without that foundation, what happens when you hit a pothole? A medical emergency, a job loss.
Right.
If you don't have the shock absorbers, the axle breaks. You have to liquidate your assets at the worst possible time.
So you build the foundation, then you build the house. Okay, pillar number 3, systems before scale.
This goes back to that asset owner mindset. You aren't just hoarding cash under the mattress.
Because inflation destroys cash.
Right. You are acquiring income-producing machines. In The Richest Man in Babylon, they call them children that work for you. Tamir calls them machines. You focus on building a system that generates cash flow, rather than just piling up a mountain of money that sits there doing nothing.
And finally, the 4th pillar. And honestly, this is the one that makes me think I could actually stick to this plan. Quality of life now, plus freedom later.
The anti-deprivation clause.
Yeah.
This is the direct answer to the FIRE movement's beans and rice problem.
We're back to structural integrity.
Yes. If the system makes you miserable, you will abandon it. That is a predictable failure mode.
Right.
Therefore, enjoying the journey, taking the vacation, buying the coffee, isn't a waste of money. It is a structural requirement. It is the maintenance cost of the human machine.
So you have to maintain a reasonable quality of life so you have the stamina to stay on the path for the, 15 or 20 years it takes to finish?
It's the middle way again. You aren't spending everything like the slow trackers, but you aren't saving everything like the FIRE devotees. You're finding that balance where you're happy today, but still safe tomorrow.
And holding all of this together, we have to mention it, is step 13.
Continuous learning. And it's not just the last step on the list, it's the parallel backbone. It runs alongside stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. It's the guidance system. Because the world changes. Tax laws change. Markets shift.
You have to adapt.
If you stop learning, You stop seeing the invisible risks and opportunities. You're flying blind.
It's fascinating to see how this isn't just a random grab bag of money tips.
Yeah.
It's a coherent response to the flaws in every other system. It really is an engineered solution.
It's designed to solve a specific problem for a specific type of person.
The salaried employee who wants to be an owner but refuses to gamble their family's safety to get there.
Exactly.
Before we wrap up this philosophical deep dive, we need to do our standard housekeeping, which honestly is part of the risk management pillar, if you think about it.
Indeed. Please go ahead.
This content is strictly educational. It is not personalized financial advice. There are no guarantees of results, and success depends on your execution. You are responsible for evaluating what applies to you, consulting qualified professionals like accountants, advisors, and lawyers, and making your own decisions. Results vary and circumstances differ.
So to summarize, the golden path is the rejection of the binary choice. You do not have to choose between boredom and extreme risk.
And you don't have to choose between poverty now and freedom later.
It's about transitioning your identity from employee to asset owner without losing your sanity or your security in the process.
And if you are trying to visualize this, the rocket launch, the golden mean diagram, you really need to see the maps. Audio is great, but the visuals lock it in.
You can find all of that on the YouTube channel. The channel name is The Golden Path to Financial Independence. And if you're looking for the handle, it is at Tamir Goldpath.
That's at Tamir Goldpath.
We'll leave you with this thought. If you looked at your current financial strategy, whether it's the one you chose or the one you just sort of drifted into, does it actually fit your personality?
Or are you trying to wear a suit that was tailored for someone else?
A question worth asking.
2025 Tamir Kaham. All rights reserved. The Golden Path and the Golden Path to FIA are trademarks of Tamir Kaham. Thanks for listening.